Hello and welcome back to Wings Geo. Okay, I am just going to put this out here. In my book, the V7 in its E5 iteration is just an amazing motorcycle. And I cannot believe that it has not caught on with more riders, new and seasoned alike. As I have mentioned it a few times in previous videos and comments, I kept glancing at the V7, and boy am I glad that I pulled the trigger. Before I'm going into why, here's a brief history of my 30 years of riding. I grew up in East Germany where bikes and cars were very scarce. Imagine having to wait for a new car for 10 years plus. Motorcycles were equally hard to come by. I started out with bicycles at the age of 7, which put me initially into a career path as professional cyclist, although that came to an end after 12 years, as being average just does not get you anywhere. During my initial education as a telecommunications specialist, I had my first exposure to bikes at the age of 17, in form of passenger rides with classmates on their 50 and 250cc bikes, and subsequently caught the bug. After Germany was reunited in 1989, I was able to buy my first bike. I started, and don't laugh here, on a 150cc Vespa. It was my ticket to avoid unemployment, as when things got tough, I scored a job as a bike courier. Needless to say, I put a lot of miles on that Vespa, but it was an amazing companion that I rode year-round, even in the snow. Fast forward, when I migrated into the US, my first bike here was the big single-cylinder thumper from Suzuki that I used once again as my primary form of transportation until I could afford a car. Once I advanced my career as a pilot, motorcycling became more of a hobby rather than my primary transportation, and I stepped up to a Yamaha VMAX. Talk about taking a leap here. From there I jumped around to enjoy all kinds of bikes all the way to today. So I do have ridden a few bikes or two, which now brings me back to the V7 from Moto Guzzi. While not super fast, amazingly utilitarian or adventure capable, it reminds me of my Vespa of the old days. Just a true, honest companion that can be used in all kinds of imaginable scenarios. It will give you just the right number of thrills if needed. It's easy on gas. I have been seeing so far 55 to 60 miles to the gallon, which is amazing considering the engine size. And that air-cooled shaft-driven setup should make for a lot of miles with minimal maintenance and amazing reliability. Minus a pesky oil sensor or squeaky shock here and there, but hey, it's an Italian bike. What do you expect? On top of it, while not Vespa nimble, for its size it is very manageable, and I don't get the feeling that the bike would overwhelm me, be it in traffic or maneuvering in tight spots. It just seems naturally approachable and very easy accessible. For me, Moto Guzzi stands for one of the last authentic experiences that reminds me personally of the days of yesteryear, with just the right amount of a modern touch. As I said in my initial video of the V85, these air-cooled engines feel very old school, as they are, but with a modern twist. and the V7 for some reason doubles down on that experience for me. The rumble of the engine in the V7 is just that much more pronounced, which for me makes for an addicting yet very relaxing riding experience. It literally speaks to me saying, hey, take it easy and enjoy the ride. When I'm riding my country back roads here in Texas, I can only imagine what it must like to ride the V7 on a warm summer day in Tuscany, just leisurely gliding through the countryside and enjoying the machine and scenery alike. And that, my friends, is, at least for me, what Moto Guzzi stands for. I have ridden many different brands and styles of motorcycles, and while all have a certain purpose and are enjoyable in their own way, looking back and even at my current stable, none of them made me feel like this little V7 does when it comes to be somewhat nostalgic about the old days. The other day I found an old video on YouTube with the chief designer of Moto Guzzi in it. He stated there are designs and then there are designs with soul that will last forever, and that riding motorcycles for him is about enjoying the ride, no matter where you are. I could have not said it any better, and the V7 seems to embody that philosophy. Originally designed in 1961 and then perfected in 1971 with the first version of the V7 Sport, I would argue that it has truly stood the test of time, some 51 years later, with its current version of the V7 Stone and V7 Special. I know I said in my initial video that I wanted to mod this bike somewhat towards a cafe racer direction. But you know what? I changed my mind. It is perfect as it sits, and I will not mess with that formula, as I want to preserve the vibes and easy accessibility this bike gives me in its current form. I am sure I will get the chance to score a true cafe racer down the road. Hey, maybe Moto Guzzi decides to come out with another version of theirs in the E5 generation. Or maybe they make a street legal version of their G-Course racing kit. That would be just alright with me. Come on, Moto Guzzi. I hope you're listening. Until next time, bye.